Welcome, sleepy stargazers, to another cozy evening of mythical tales. Tonight, we journey to a world of glistening ice and ancient magic for a story called Holda's Gift of Flax. Imagine a shepherd, a snowy mountain, and a mysterious chamois leading him to a wondrous cave. This is where he encounters the benevolent goddess Holda and receives gifts that will change his family's destiny forever. But just before we begin, if our stories help you drift off, please tap the like and subscribe buttons. In my channel, you can find Norse, Greek, and Egyptian mythology tales. Comment and tell me which myth you'd like to hear next. Your support helps us craft and shape more calm stories for fellow night owls. And now let your shoulders sink softly into the mattress and your mind drift into today's tale. The crisp alpine air carried the scent of pine and damp earth. It was late autumn. The meadows were turning. Golden grasses shimmered in the fading sunlight. Tiny frost crystals clung to their tips. Elara knew this landscape intimately. She had walked these paths since childhood. Her small flock of sheep grazed contentedly nearby. Their soft bells tinkled a quiet melody. Elara was a shepherdess. Her life was simple. It was also solitary. She lived in a small, sturdy stone hut. It nestled against a towering peak. The hut offered little comfort. Its hearth was often cold. Its windows were small, like watchful eyes. They looked out upon a world both beautiful and harsh. Elara often felt a deep loneliness. The mountains were grand. They were indifferent. Her only companions were her sheep. They were gentle. They were voiceless. She longed for something more. Her dreams were vivid. They were restless. She imagined bustling villages. She pictured warm, inviting homes. She yearned for laughter. She craved shared stories. She wished for a different life. This life felt too small for her spirit. The days were long. The work was demanding. She guided her sheep to fresh pastures. She mended broken fences. She gathered firewood from the sparse forests. Her hands were calloused. Her face was weathered. The mountain sun had kissed her skin. The mountain winds had sculpted her features. Autumn brought a chill. It whispered of winter's approach. The leaves on the larch trees were turning. They glowed like molten gold. Soon the snows would come. They would blanket the peaks. They would seal off the high passes. Elara would be even more isolated then. She sighed softly. Her breath plumed in the cold air. A small stream gurgled nearby. Its water was icy clear. Elara knelt by its banks. She cupped her hands. She drank deeply. The water was refreshing. It was pure. She stood slowly. Her eyes scanned the horizon. The peaks rose majestically around her. They pierced the vast blue sky. A hawk circled overhead. Its cry was piercing. It was lonely. Elara felt a kinship with the bird. They both lived on the edges of the world. She watched her sheep graze. They were oblivious to her thoughts. Their wool was thick. It was warm. It protected them from the cold. Elara pulled her cloak tighter. It was made of rough wool. It offered little warmth. She shivered slightly. Her thoughts drifted. She imagined a soft bed. She pictured a roaring fire. She dreamed of a hot meal. These simple comforts seemed distant. They felt almost impossible. Her reality was stark. It was demanding. It left little room for such luxuries. Yet she held onto her dreams. They were like embers in her heart. They glowed faintly, keeping hope alive. They promised a future, perhaps. The sun began its descent. Long shadows stretched across the valley. The air grew colder still. A hush fell over the mountains. Suddenly, a movement caught her eye. It was high on a rocky outcrop. Something gleamed in the dim light. It was impossibly white. Elara squinted. Her vision was keen. She had spent years observing the mountains. She knew its creatures well. It was a chamois, but unlike any she had ever seen. Its coat was pure, unblemished white. It shone with an inner light. It stood perfectly still. Its elegant head was held high. Its dark eyes seemed to hold ancient wisdom. They gazed directly at Elara. A thrill ran through her. It was a sense of wonder. This creature was magnificent. It was almost ethereal. Chamois were usually skittish. They were wary of humans. This one showed no fear. It simply watched her. Elara felt an inexplicable pull. It was a deep curiosity. This chamois felt special. It felt like a sign. She took a tentative step forward. The chamois did not move. Its white coat seemed to shimmer. It was almost luminous. "Hello," she whispered. Her voice was soft. It was carried away by the wind. The chamois remained silent. She took another step, then another. She moved slowly, carefully. She did not want to startle it. The chamois turned its head slightly. It lowered its gaze. Then, with an effortless leap, it moved. It bounded higher up the slope. Elara stopped. Her heart beat a little faster. It was not fleeing. It was leading. She hesitated for a moment. Her sheep were scattered. Dusk was approaching swiftly. It would soon be dark. But the chamois beckoned. Its pure white form was a beacon. It drew her onward. It promised something extraordinary. She made a quick decision. She would follow it, just a little further. Her flock would be safe for a short while. She began to climb. The terrain was steep. Loose scree shifted under her boots. She gripped the rough rock face. The chamois waited. It paused on a narrow ledge. It looked back at her. Its eyes seemed to encourage her. Elara pressed on. Her breath came in short gasps. Her muscles ached, but she felt invigorated. This was an adventure. It was something new. It was a break from her routine. It was a glimmer of magic. The chamois moved again. It ascended gracefully. It seemed to float over the rocks. It was impossibly agile. Elara tried to keep pace. She scrambled over boulders. She pushed through thorny bushes. Her cloak snagged on branches. The elevation increased. The air grew thinner. The cold intensified, but the chamois remained just ahead. It never truly fled. It never vanished from sight. It simply maintained a distance. It was always just out of reach. Elara felt a growing awe. This was no ordinary animal. It seemed to possess an otherworldly quality. It was a creature of myth. She thought of the old stories. Her grandmother used to tell them. Tales of mountain spirits, legends of enchanted beasts. Could this be one of them? A messenger from another realm, a guide to a hidden path. Her imagination soared. The sun was now a sliver. It dipped below the western peaks. The sky bled into hues of orange and purple. The colors were breathtaking. The world grew dimmer. Shadows lengthened dramatically. The outlines of the mountains softened. They became dark silhouettes. Still, the white chamois glowed. It was a beacon in the twilight. It led her higher and higher, up towards the jagged summits. Elara felt a thrill of fear and a surge of exhilaration. She was alone in the vast mountains, following a creature of legend. The path grew narrower. It wound along a dizzying precipice. One misstep could be disastrous. She clung to the rock face. Her hands were raw. Her fingers were numb. The cold bit at her exposed skin, but she could not stop. The chamois was her compass. It was her destination. It was her hope. It was her mystery. She looked back once. Her small hut was a tiny speck. It was almost swallowed by the darkness. Her flock was invisible now. A pang of worry struck her, but it quickly faded. The pull of the chamois was stronger. It was irresistible. She focused on its white form. It seemed to shimmer. It seemed to pulse with a gentle light. It was almost hypnotic. The climb continued. The air was frigid now. She could see her breath. It plumed like smoke. The stars began to appear. They glittered in the inky sky. They were impossibly bright. They seemed closer here. The chamois paused again. It stood at the edge of a high plateau. Its head was turned towards her. Its eyes held a deep knowing. Elara reached the plateau. She stumbled slightly. Her legs trembled with exhaustion. Her lungs burned. She looked around. The view was magnificent. The world stretched out below her. It was a tapestry of shadows and faint lights. The chamois took a few steps. It moved towards the center of the plateau. It turned its head one last time. It looked at Elara. Then it melted into the darkness. It did not run. It did not leap. It simply faded from view. Elara gasped. She blinked her eyes. Had she imagined it? Was it a trick of the light? No, she knew it was real. The chamois had been there. It had led her here. She was alone now, completely alone, high in the mountains, under a canopy of stars. A profound silence enveloped her. It was broken only by the wind. It whispered ancient secrets. It sang a lonely song. What was she to do? Where had the chamois gone? What was the meaning of this journey? Her mind reeled. She felt a strange mix of emotions. Disappointment, yes. The magic seemed to have vanished, but also a curious sense of purpose. She was here for a reason. The chamois had brought her. It had led her to this place, this sacred, silent place. She looked up at the stars. They seemed to twinkle with meaning. The air hummed with an unseen energy. It felt alive. A shiver ran down her spine. It was not from the cold. It was from a sense of wonder. It was from a feeling of destiny. This was no ordinary night. This was no ordinary mountain. This was the beginning of something vast and unknown. She sat down on a cold rock. Her body ached, but her spirit was awake. It was alert. She wrapped her cloak around her. It was thin protection, but she felt strangely warm. A quiet excitement bubbled within her. The chamois had gone, but its presence lingered. It was a promise. It was a mystery. Elara gazed into the darkness. She listened to the wind. She waited for whatever came next. The night deepened. The stars grew brighter. The moon began to rise. It cast a silver glow. The plateau was bathed in moonlight. It revealed ancient rock formations. They stood like silent sentinels. They guarded forgotten paths. Elara knew she could not go back now. Not tonight. The descent would be too dangerous. The darkness too absolute. She would spend the night here, on this high, lonely plateau, where the white chamois had led her, where magic had touched her life. She thought of her sheep. They would be fine. They were hardy creatures. They knew how to shelter. Her thoughts turned inward. What did this mean for her? This encounter, this journey. It felt like a turning point, a departure from her old life, a step into the unknown, a leap of faith. She closed her eyes. She pictured the chamois, its luminous white coat, its wise, dark eyes. It was a creature of beauty. It was a creature of power. It was a creature of mystery. It was a guide. Elara felt a surge of gratitude for this unexpected encounter, for this strange adventure, for this glimmer of hope. Perhaps her dreams were not so distant after all. Perhaps they were closer than she thought. Perhaps this was the way. She took a deep breath. The air was clean, it was pure. It filled her lungs. It invigorated her. She would face whatever came, with courage, with an open heart, with a spirit of wonder. The mountains held their secrets, but they also offered their gifts. And tonight, Elara had received one, a gift of magic, and a promise of transformation. The lonely shepherdess was now a seeker on a path unknown, under the watchful eyes of the stars and the silent peaks. Elara waited for the dawn and for her destiny. The little chamois paused, its dark eyes fixed on something unseen. Elara followed its gaze. A shimmering curtain of ice veiled an opening. It pulsed with a soft, ethereal blue light. This light seemed to beckon, to whisper secrets. The air around them grew still. A hush fell over the mountain. Elara felt a strange pull, a gentle urging. The The blue light pulsed again, a silent invitation. It felt ancient and powerful. This was no ordinary cave entrance. It was a doorway, a portal to something hidden. Elara hesitated, a knot of doubt tightening in her stomach. What lay beyond that luminous veil? Fear flickered, a cold ember in her heart. Yet a stronger feeling stirred within her. Curiosity, keen and bright, pushed aside the fear. A sense of destiny, perhaps, or just plain wonder. Her heart beat a soft rhythm against her ribs. She took a deep, steadying breath. The chamois nudged her hand softly. Its fur felt warm, a comforting presence. It seemed to understand her indecision. Its eyes, dark and knowing, urged her forward. "Trust us," they seemed to say. "Trust this path." Elara reached out a trembling hand. Her fingers brushed against the shimmering ice. It felt cool, smooth beneath her touch. The blue light pulsed again, almost responsively. It drew her in. With a final glance at the vast, snowy landscape stretching behind her, Elara stepped forward. The shimmering curtain parted silently. She passed through the veil of blue light. The world outside vanished instantly. Inside, a strange warmth enveloped her. It was a gentle warmth, like a summer breeze. This warmth defied the icy exterior of the cave. It was unexpected, a pleasant surprise. The air was rich with a sweet, earthy scent. Wildflowers, she realized. The delicate fragrance of mountain blooms filled the space. How could wildflowers thrive within a cave of ice? It was a mystery, a delightful paradox. The scent was intoxicating. The blue light here was softer, more diffused. It cast long, dancing shadows. These shadows played across the intricate ice formations. The formations rose like silent sentinels. They gleamed with an inner luminescence. Elara gazed around in awe. The walls were not merely ice. They were sculpted, etched with incredible detail. Some formations resembled ancient carvings. Others looked like mythical beasts frozen in time. There were towering columns, delicate filigree. There were swirling patterns like frozen currents. Each surface was a masterpiece. Each curve, each facet caught the blue light. They reflected it in dazzling displays. A faint, melodic hum vibrated through the air. It was a low, resonant sound. It seemed to emanate from the very heart of the cave. The hum was soothing, almost hypnotic. It wove itself into the silence. It was a song without words, a melody born of ice and light. It filled her ears with gentle whispers. The hum enveloped her, a soft, ethereal embrace. It calmed her racing thoughts. The chamois, her faithful guide, moved ahead. It picked its way silently over the icy floor. Its hooves made no sound. It seemed perfectly at home here. This place was its domain. Elara followed, her steps tentative. She felt like an intruder. Yet the cave felt welcoming. It held no menace, only wonder, only silent, ancient beauty. The air grew even warmer as they ventured deeper. The scent of wildflowers intensified. It was a tapestry of fragrances. Sweet clover, alpine rose, mountain thyme. Each note distinct, yet harmonious. The ice formations became more elaborate. Some resembled colossal crystals. Others looked like frozen waterfalls. Each one unique, each one breathtaking. They sparkled with inner light. Elara reached out to touch a shimmering wall. The ice felt smooth, impossibly warm. It was like touching polished stone. Not cold, not harsh, but inviting. A living, breathing surface. The melodic hum grew slightly louder. It seemed to pulse with the blue light. It was a living sound, a heartbeat of the cave. It resonated deep within her. She noticed intricate designs within the ice itself, not carved, but naturally formed. Petals, leaves, swirling patterns. They were like frozen dreams or memories, ancient, forgotten memories. The chamois stopped at a wide opening. It was another chamber. This one was even more vast. It stretched into the blue-lit distance. The hum was louder here. The floor of this chamber was smoother. It was like polished glass. The blue light shimmered across its surface. It reflected the ice formations above. A mirror world. The chamois turned its head. It looked at Elara. Its dark eyes held a profound depth. A silent farewell, perhaps, or a silent promise. A knowing gaze. Then, with a graceful movement, it turned again. It stepped into the depths of the chamber. It moved silently, effortlessly. It became one with the blue light. Elara watched, mesmerized. The chamois did not disappear suddenly. It faded. Its form became translucent. It dissolved into the shimmering blue, like a dream. One moment it was there. The next, it was gone, vanished, leaving Elara utterly alone. Alone in the heart of the mystical cavern, surrounded by silent wonder. A profound silence descended. The hum continued, a soft, constant presence. But the silence of the chamois' departure was immense. It echoed in the vast chamber. Elara stood still. Her breath hitched in her throat. The chamois was gone. Her guide had left her. She was truly alone now. A sense of vulnerability washed over her, but it was not a fearful vulnerability. It was a sense of being truly present, of being truly immersed, of being at the threshold of something profound, a new journey. The blue light pulsed steadily. It illuminated the chamber. It revealed more wonders, more intricate ice formations, more delicate patterns, more hidden beauty. The air remained warm. The scent of wildflowers lingered. It was a comforting embrace, a gentle reminder that this place was not hostile. It was magical. It was alive. Elara took a hesitant step forward. Her boots made a soft whisper on the icy floor. The sound was amplified in the quiet. It felt almost sacrilegious. She looked around again. The ice walls seemed to breathe. They held ancient secrets. They whispered forgotten tales. tales of gods and spirits, tales of old magic. The melodic hum filled her senses. It was more than a sound. It was a feeling, a vibration in her bones. A gentle current flowing through her. It connected her to the cave. There was no discernible path now, just the vast, shimmering chamber. The blue light guided her. It seemed to draw her deeper, towards the source of the hum. She walked slowly, her eyes wide with wonder. Each step revealed something new. A hidden alcove, a sparkling crystal formation, a shimmering pool of blue light. The pools reflected the ceiling. They created an illusion of infinite depth. It was like walking between worlds, between the known and the unknown, between reality and dream. The air grew subtly heavier, not oppressive, but rich. It felt ancient, as if time itself had slowed here, as if centuries had passed in a single breath. Elara touched a large ice formation. It resembled a giant, feathered wing. The ice was smooth and cool, yet it pulsed with a faint warmth. A living ice. She traced the delicate lines of the feathers, each one perfectly rendered, each one shimmering. It was a work of art, a masterpiece of nature, or something more. The hum seemed to deepen. It vibrated around her. It was no longer just a sound. It was a presence, a gentle, guiding force. It led her onward. She noticed tiny, luminous motes of light. They danced in the air, like fireflies, but made of pure light. They swirled around her, a silent, ethereal ballet. They were beautiful, fragile. They added to the magic. They seemed to welcome her, to dance in celebration of her arrival. A silent greeting. Elara felt a sense of peace, a profound calm. All the worries of the outside world melted away. All the fear, all the uncertainty. Only the present remained. She was here, in this magical place, guided by an unseen force, surrounded by beauty, immersed in wonder. A profound experience, a moment of true connection. The ice formations continued to amaze her. Some looked like intricate tapestries, woven from light and shadow. Others resembled giant, sparkling jewels, each one unique. The floor remained smooth. It was easy to walk. There were no obstacles, no dangers, only beauty, only silent, ancient magic, a path of discovery. The scent of wildflowers remained strong. It was a constant companion, a reminder of life, of warmth, of the unexpected, a paradox in the heart of ice. Elara wondered about the source of the flowers. Were they real, or were they an illusion, a trick of the light, a gift from the cave itself? She did not know. She simply accepted their presence, their fragrance, their impossible beauty. It added to the mystery. It deepened the enchantment. It made the cave truly unique. The blue light varied in intensity. Sometimes it was soft, diffuse. Other times it pulsed brightly, like a living heart, beating in the depths of the earth. She felt a connection to it, a resonance, as if her own heart beat in rhythm with the light. A silent communion, a shared breath, a shared existence. The hum was now a constant, gentle thrum. It was almost imperceptible, yet it was always there. A low, soothing vibration, a lullaby for the soul. Elara found herself walking without conscious thought. Her feet moved on their own, guided by an unseen hand, led by the light, drawn by the hum. She passed through a narrow passage. The walls pressed in gently. They shimmered with blue light. It felt like walking through a crystal tunnel, a magical conduit. On the other side, the chamber opened up again, even larger than before. This one seemed to be the heart of the cave, the source of it all. In the center of this vast chamber, a single, enormous ice formation stood. It towered towards the ceiling. It pulsed with the brightest blue light. It resembled a colossal tree. Its branches spread wide. They were made of shimmering ice. Its roots plunged deep into the floor. A tree of light, a tree of ice. The melodic hum was strongest here. It emanated from the tree. It was the source, the heart of the cave's song, a silent, powerful melody. Elara approached it slowly, her heart filled with reverence. This was it. This was what the chamois had led her to, the ultimate secret, the deepest mystery. The air around the ice tree was even warmer. It felt almost tropical. The scent of wildflowers was overwhelming. A symphony of fragrances, a garden of dreams. Luminous motes of light danced around the tree. They formed swirling patterns. They created intricate designs. A living, breathing light show. A sacred dance. Elara stood before the ice tree. She reached out a hand, not to touch it, but to feel its presence, its energy, its ancient, powerful essence. The blue light pulsed. The hum vibrated. The motes of light danced. Elara felt a profound sense of belonging, as if she had come home, to a place she never knew existed. This was the unknown. This was the wonder. This was the magic. And she was here, alone, but not afraid, only filled with silent, awestruck wonder. The silence of the cave enveloped her. It was a silence filled with sound. The hum, the pulse of light, the rustle of unseen currents, a living silence. Elara closed her eyes for a moment. She breathed in the scent of wildflowers. She felt the warmth on her skin. She listened to the hum. She allowed herself to simply be. When she opened her eyes, the ice tree seemed to glow even brighter. It beckoned her closer. It whispered secrets. It invited her to listen, to learn. She took another step, then another, drawn in by its magnetic pull. This was not just a cave. This was a sanctuary, a realm of magic, a place of profound truth. The journey had just begun. The chamois had left her, but the cave itself was now her guide, and she was ready for whatever lay ahead, ready for the silent wonder. The air grew softer, warmer, carrying with it a faint, sweet scent, like spring rain on ancient earth. Elara pushed deeper, her worn boots finding purchase on the smooth, cool stone of the tunnel floor. The passage widened gradually, no longer feeling claustrophobic, but rather inviting, as if the very stone breathed with a benevolent presence. Her fingers, still tingling from the residual chill of the outer world, brushed against the slick, moss-kissed walls, a texture surprisingly comforting beneath her touch. A gentle, pulsing bluish glow, ethereal and deep as a mountain spring at twilight, appeared ahead, casting dancing shadows that seemed to beckon her forward. It wasn't the harsh, blinding light of a torch, but a soft, internal luminescence, emanating from the very fabric of the air itself. With each step, the light grew brighter, painting the rough-hewn tunnel walls in shifting hues of sapphire and indigo. The quality of the air changed too. It became fresh, clean, carrying a subtle, earthy fragrance mingled with something else, something indefinable, yet profoundly ancient and pure. The cave felt less like a maw, a gaping abyss ready to swallow her, and more like an embrace, a gentle womb cradling her on her journey, a quiet anticipation akin to the hush before dawn, settled over Elara, replacing the gnawing fear that had been her constant companion. The path sloped downward, the blue light brightening with an almost conscious intensity, guiding her as surely as a lighthouse beam. The gentle hum that had been subtly present now grew, a low, harmonious vibration that resonated deep within her chest, a soothing balm to her weary spirit. Then, without warning, the tunnel opened suddenly, not into another passage, but into an enormous chamber, vast beyond imagining. Elara gasped, the sound swallowed by the sheer scale of the space. It was a cathedral of light and shadow, a subterranean sky. Blue light didn't just emanate from a source. It was woven into the very air, shimmering like heat haze over a summer field, yet cool and invigorating. Its ceiling soared, so high that its apex was lost in a celestial haze of blue, a dome of shimmering rock studded with stalactites that hung like colossal, luminous chandeliers, each one dripping with silent, frozen light. They weren't mere rock formations. They pulsed with an inner glow, casting intricate, weaving patterns on the chamber walls. The floor beneath her feet was polished obsidian, so dark and reflective it mirrored the luminous ceiling, creating an illusion of infinite depth, as if she stood suspended between two starry heavens. A delicate, ethereal mist, like powdered moonlight, veiled the obsidian, swirling and parting with an almost sentient grace as she stepped onto it, leaving no trace of her passage. The air, now profoundly still, was filled with a faint, crystalline chime, like distant bells made of ice, a sound that seemed to emanate from the very light itself. In the absolute center of this breathtaking expanse sat Holda, majestic and still, a figure of profound grace and power, bathed entirely in the pervasive blue light. Elara felt an instant, overwhelming wave of reverence wash over her, a feeling akin to standing before a sacred, ancient mountain or gazing upon a newly born star. Hulda sat upon a throne carved entirely from self-illuminated ice, its facets catching and refracting the blue light, making it seem to glow from within, like a giant frozen sapphire. Her snow-white hair, like spun moonlight captured in a silken cascade, flowed around her shoulders, reaching almost to the floor, each strand seeming to shimmer with its own delicate luminescence. Her fair skin, unblemished and smooth as polished marble, seemed to radiate calm, an inner peace that permeated the vast chamber. But it was her eyes that truly held Elara captive. Deep blue, like ancient mountain lakes reflecting a cloudless sky, they held the wisdom of ages, a profound understanding born of countless cycles of winter and rebirth. They mirrored the chamber's light, not just reflecting it, but seeming to contain its very essence. And as they settled upon Elara, they looked not merely asterisk at asterisk her, but into asterisk her soul, with a gaze of complete and utter understanding, stripping away all pretense, all fear, all doubt. A soft, knowing smile, gentle as the first thaw, touched Hulda's lips, and in that instant, all of Elara's remaining fears, her anxieties about her worthiness, dissolved like morning mist in the sun. Hulda's simple, elegant gown, woven from what appeared to be cloud-spun silk, flowed around her like a living garment, its soft folds shifting with unseen currents of air, making her seem less a separate entity and more a part of the very atmosphere of the chamber, an embodiment of its serene power. Awestruck, Elara stood rooted to the spot. Her heart, which had been pounding with exertion and apprehension, now beat with a quiet, profound wonder, a sense of having found exactly where she was meant to be. Hulda's gaze softened further, deepening its empathetic connection, a silent acknowledgement of every step of Elara's arduous journey, every hidden struggle she had endured, every quiet dream she harbored in her heart. The air itself seemed to hum with this silent communion, a shared understanding that transcended words. Then Hulda spoke. Her voice was not merely sound. It was a soft, resonant melody, a series of harmonious tones that filled the vast chamber effortlessly, not echoing harshly, but rather permeating the very air, vibrating in Elara's bones, a sound that felt ancient and comforting, like the gentle murmur of a deep river. "Welcome, dear child," Hulda said, her words pure and clear as mountain spring water, each syllable perfectly formed, carrying with it an indescribable sense of grace. "You have journeyed far through shadowed valleys and across windswept plains, guided by a spirit most true." A profound sense of validation washed over Elara, a warmth spreading through her chest like sunshine after a long winter. "You have shown such courage, not the loud courage of a warrior, but the quiet, enduring bravery of a heart committed to goodness." Elara thought of the countless moments she had almost given up, the times doubt had gnawed at her resolve. Hulda's words were a balm. "You have faced many trials, overcome much doubt, both from within and without, yet your spirit remained unbent. Your heart is pure, Elara. It shines brightly even in the deepest gloom, a beacon for those who might lose their way. Your hands are strong, accustomed to honest labor, to the shaping of the earth and the tending of life. And your spirit yearns for what is just, for what is right, seeking only to do good, not for personal gain, but for the betterment of all. Hold his eyes. Those deep, ancient pools seem to see into every corner of Elara's being, acknowledging the quiet struggles and triumphs that no one else had ever witnessed. I have watched you, Elara, Hulda revealed, her voice a gentle current of sound. I have seen your perseverance in the face of scarcity, your unwavering kindness, even when kindness was not returned. Your diligence is commendable, a testament to your quiet strength, and your spirit, though tested, has remained unwavering. Elara felt a humble pride bloom within her, a warmth of recognition that brought tears to her eyes. Many seek riches or power, the fleeting glories of the material world, but you, my dear, are different. You seek understanding, a deeper purpose beyond mere survival. You seek only to improve your world, to sow seeds of hope where despair has taken root. That is why you are here. You have been chosen for a special gift, a reward not for grand deeds, but for your unwavering kindness, a testament to your quiet strength, your enduring spirit. This gift is not of gold or jewels, Hulda stated, her voice imbued with profound certainty. For those are but fleeting shadows. It is a gift of true value, a living gift that will empower you, allowing you to help others in ways you cannot yet imagine. It will bloom, growing not just in the earth, but within you, expanding and deepening with your efforts, your dedication, and your love. Elara felt a thrilling surge of hope, a sense of destiny unfurling before her. Your struggles have not been in vain. They have led you here to this moment. They have made you strong, resilient, capable of bearing the weight of this blessing. Now, it is time for a new beginning, a new path, a blossoming of all that you are. Elara thrilled at the prospect, a sense of boundless possibility opening before her. This gift is not merely for you, dear Elara, but for your community, for your world, for all those who will be touched by your generosity. For you possess the spirit of creation, the heart of abundance, a deep wellspring of life within you. Are you ready, Elara? Hulda asked gently, her voice a soft invitation, an echo of the chamber's quiet hum. Yes, Elara whispered, her voice barely a breath, yet filled with a surging purpose, a certainty that resonated through her very being. Yes, I am ready. Hulda smiled, a radiant, all-encompassing smile that seemed to light the entire chamber from within, reflecting in the obsidian floor like 1,000 stars. Then listen closely, dear one, for the seeds of this gift are already within you, waiting to be nurtured, waiting to awaken. The blue light around Hulda intensified, pulsing with a gentle, rhythmic beat, like the slow, steady heart of the world itself. The air shimmered, growing thick with energy, yet remaining soft and inviting. Hulda raised her hand, her movements fluid and graceful, as if she were sculpting the very air. In her outstretched palm, a small, delicate object began to form, coalescing from the shimmering blue light itself. It spun slowly, gathering substance, growing clearer, pulsing with the same deep inner warmth as the light that surrounded Hulda. It was a single, perfect seed, no bigger than Elara's thumbnail, yet radiating an astonishing vibrancy. This, Hulda intoned, her voice resonating with ancient power, is the seed of your gift. It is a seed of transformation, holding within its tiny form the essence of growth, the promise of renewal, the very breath of creation. The seed hummed gently in Hulda's palm, a soft, almost inaudible vibration that Elara felt in her own fingertips. You will carry this seed, nurture it with care, plant it with intention and love. It will require your patience, your diligence, your unwavering belief. But in return, it will yield wonders, bringing forth abundance beyond measure, not just for you, but for all who touch its bounty. With a gentle, almost imperceptible motion, the seed floated from Hulda's palm, drifting slowly, gracefully through the shimmering blue air towards Elara. It settled into her outstretched hand, surprisingly warm, smooth as polished glass, and alive with a subtle, internal pulse that mirrored her own heartbeat. It felt remarkably ordinary, yet profoundly sacred. This is the seed of flax, Hulda revealed, her voice now imbued with a deep reverence for the humble plant. It is a plant often overlooked, a simple stalk in the fields, but it holds great power, Elara, the power of creation, of sustenance, of connection. From this single seed, you will grow fields of bounty, stretching across the land like a blue-green sea. From its fibers, strong and resilient, you will weave warmth and comfort. You will create cloth, garments that will shelter and protect. But more than that, you will create opportunity, connection, a tapestry of shared purpose that will bind your community together. This flax will not be ordinary flax, Elara, Hulda clarified, her gaze holding Elara's. It will be touched by my magic, infused with the essence of true kindness, of enduring strength, of unwavering hope. Its fibers will be strong, its threads resilient beyond any you have known. When you spin its threads, think of purity of heart. When you weave its cloth, think of compassion and unity. This flax will bring prosperity, not just in coin, but in comfort, in dignity, in shared purpose to your people. But remember, Hulda cautioned, her voice a gentle rumble that nonetheless carried immense weight. The true gift lies not in the flax itself, not in the mere material wealth it provides, but in how you use it. It lies in your intention, your generosity, your willingness to share. You must share this gift wisely, with an open heart, with no thought of personal gain. Do not seek to hoard its bounty. Do not let greed cloud your judgment, for the gift will diminish, its magic fading if misused or hoarded. But if you share it freely, with love and compassion, it will multiply, bringing endless blessings, not just to your community, but to your spirit. Elara clutched the precious seed, feeling its warmth, its surprising weight in her palm. A profound sense of sacredness settled upon her, accompanied by an equally profound sense of responsibility. This was not just a seed, it was a promise, a living embodiment of Holda's faith in her. "Now go forth, Elara," Holda instructed softly, her voice beginning to fade, becoming one with the soft hum of the chamber. "Return to your world. Carry this seed with care, nurture it with love, and watch as your dreams and the dreams of your people unfold before you." The blue light around Holda began to dim, receding slowly like a gentle tide, drawing back towards her. Her form, which had seemed so solid and real, began to soften, becoming less distinct, more ethereal. Elara felt a gentle, loving guidance, an unseen hand turning her towards the tunnel entrance. She bowed deeply, a gesture of profound gratitude and respect, holding the seed tightly, carefully, against her heart. Holda smiled one last time, a radiant, wise smile that encompassed all the love and hope in the world. Then she blurred, her form dissolving, melting into the shimmering blue light, becoming one with the very air of the chamber, a whisper, a presence, a memory. The chamber itself began to fade, the luminous stalactites dimming, the obsidian floor losing its mirror-like sheen. Elara turned slowly, her heart full, her mind reeling with the wonder of what she had witnessed. Holda was gone. Only the soft blue light remained, pulsing faintly, like a lingering heartbeat, a gentle echo of the divine presence. She began to walk, her steps light and buoyant, no longer feeling the weariness that had weighed her down on her journey in. Her heart was full, overflowing with a quiet joy, a thrilling sense of purpose that had been ignited by Holda's words. A new strength, not of muscle, but of spirit, filled her, a quiet resolve that settled deep within her bones. The seed in her hand, still warm and pulsing gently, felt like a beacon, a tiny star guiding her way. The tunnel ahead was gently lit, a soft, inviting glow leading upward, back to the world she had left behind. Holda's presence, though unseen, still lingered, a pervasive sense of peace and blessing following her, a gentle hand on her back. Elara walked steadily, without fear, without hesitation. The darkness of the tunnel had no power over her now, for she carried her own light. She held the seed carefully, her precious charge, her divine gift, knowing that it was not just a plant, but a symbol, a promise, a living prayer. Her journey was not over in truth. It had just begun. This was the start of something new, something extraordinary, filled with boundless promise and the potential for profound change. The cave felt transformed, no longer dark and forbidding, but a place of revelation, a sacred space where dreams were sown and futures were shaped. Elara continued her ascent, the upward slope feeling less like an arduous climb and more like a gentle lift, a natural progression. She was ready, truly ready, for whatever lay ahead. She carried the gift of flax, the promise of Holda, the future, not just her own, but that of her community, held carefully in her hand. The soft blue light, a comforting, ethereal presence, guided her, whispering of hope, abundance, and the true, quiet magic that resided in every act of kindness and every shared blessing. Elara watched Hulda. Hulda's eyes twinkled. A gentle smile played on her lips. The air around them shimmered softly. It felt like a warm, comforting embrace. Hulda reached out her hand. Her movement was slow and deliberate. From seemingly nowhere, a cluster of flowers appeared. They rested in her open palm. Elara gasped softly. These were no ordinary blossoms. Their color was an impossible blue. It was deeper than the deepest twilight sky. It was more vibrant than a summer noon. Each petal pulsed with an inner light. This light was soft and ethereal. It cast a gentle glow on Hulda's skin. The flowers seemed to breathe. They moved with a silent, rhythmic sway. These, Hulda murmured, her voice like a whisper of wind chimes, are the blossoms of enduring hope. She spoke each word with care. They are the flowers of true beauty. Elara leaned closer. She wanted to absorb every detail. The scent was subtle. It was like fresh rain and distant honey. Hulda extended her hand further. The flowers floated nearer to Elara. They hovered just inches from her face. Elara hesitated. She was almost afraid to touch them. Their ethereal glow was captivating. It drew her in completely. She felt a profound sense of peace. They will never wither, Hulda explained. Her tone was reassuring. They will never fade. The words settled over Elara. They felt like a warm blanket. Their light will always guide you. Hulda's eyes met Elara's. It will remind you of what is true. Elara's fingers trembled. She reached out slowly. Her fingertips brushed a petal. It felt impossibly soft. It was cool and smooth. A tiny spark of warmth moved through her. It spread from her hand to her heart. The light from the flowers intensified slightly. It was as if they welcomed her touch. She cupped her hands gently. The flowers settled into her palms. Their glow illuminated her face. Her eyes reflected their impossible blue. A feeling of profound gratitude swelled within her. It brought a tear to her eye. She carefully held the precious gift. She felt its magic humming. Hold them close, Hulda advised softly. Cherish their light. Her voice was a gentle melody. Let their beauty fill your spirit. Elara nodded slowly. She couldn't speak. The beauty of the flowers was overwhelming. It was a gift beyond measure. Then Hulda reached into the folds of her long, flowing gown. Her fingers reappeared. They held something else. It was a small, intricately carved wooden box. The wood was dark and smooth. It felt warm to the touch. The carvings depicted tiny, delicate swirls. They looked like growing vines. Small, almost imperceptible dots adorned them. They resembled scattered seeds. Hulda presented the box to Elara. Her movements were graceful. Elara carefully balanced the blue flowers in one hand. She reached for the box with the other. The wood felt solid and ancient. It fit perfectly in her palm. The craftsmanship was exquisite. Every detail was precise. And this, Hulda began, her voice gaining a quiet strength, is a gift for your future. She paused meaningfully. and for the future of your kin. Elara looked down at the box. She felt a deep sense of anticipation. What could be inside? Hulda gestured for Elara to open it. Elara's thumb found a tiny clasp. It was almost invisible. She gently pressed it. The lid lifted with a soft, almost inaudible click. Inside, nestled on a bed of soft, dried moss, were tiny seeds. They were no bigger than grains of sand. Their color was a pale, earthy brown. "These are flax seeds," Hulda explained. Her voice was full of gentle wisdom. "They are the seeds of prosperity." Elara looked at the tiny seeds. They seemed unassuming. Yet, Hulda's words imbued them with great power. "They are the promise of comfort." Hulda leaned closer. Her voice became a soft conspirator's whisper. "When planted with care," she continued, "these seeds will yield much." Elara listened intently. She wanted to understand everything. "They will bring forth strong fibers." Hulda's words painted a picture. Fibers for cloth. Elara imagined the soft linen. She thought of warm blankets. She pictured sturdy garments. Her family often struggled. They struggled with threadbare clothes. They struggled with cold nights. This gift offered a solution. It offered relief. "And from these fibers," Hulda went on, "you will weave a legacy." Her gaze was steady. "A legacy of warmth." Elara felt a deep stirring within her. This was more than just cloth. It was hope. It was security. A legacy of abundance. Hulda's finger traced the edge of the box. "But know this, little one," she cautioned. Her tone grew serious. "The magic of these seeds is tied." She emphasized the word. "It is tied to your heart." Elara looked up at Hulda. She felt the weight of her words. "It is tied to your family's hands." Hulda's gaze was piercing. "And to the very earth." Elara understood. This was not a passive gift. It required active participation. It demanded effort. "These gifts must be cherished," Hulda stated firmly. Her eyes held Elara's. "They must be nurtured." Elara nodded her understanding. She would care for them. She would care for them with all her heart. "They must be shared." Hulda's words resonated deeply. Sharing was key. It was a fundamental principle. True prosperity was never hoarded. It flowed outwards. It enriched the community. "The flowers," Hulda explained, "will remind you." Her voice was soft again. "They will remind you of hope's endless bloom." Elara looked at the glowing blue flowers. Their light was a constant comfort, even in the darkest times. She felt a surge of strength. "And the flax," Hulda continued, "will provide." Her voice was steady. "It will provide for your needs." Elara thought of her struggling family. The gift felt monumental. It will provide for generations. This was a promise. It was a promise of a better future. "But remember," Hulda warned, her voice a low hum, "the magic is fragile." Elara felt a slight tremor of fear. She didn't want to break it. "It is tied to your care." Hulda's eyes were kind. "Your care for the land." Elara pictured the small patch of earth. It was behind their humble cottage. Her father tilled it each spring. Her mother tended the small garden. This gift would transform it. It would make it truly fertile. And your care for each other, Hulda added. Her voice was gentle. For every soul in your family. Elara thought of her younger siblings. She thought of her parents. Their love was the foundation. It was the true source of their strength. Hulda's hand rested briefly on Elara's arm. Her touch was warm. If these gifts are neglected, Hulda stated, her voice firm, their magic will wane. Elara felt a pang of worry. She would not let that happen. Their light will dim. The flowers will lose their luster. Hulda's expression was somber. The seeds will yield nothing. Elara felt a chill. The thought of losing such a precious gift was unbearable. She vowed to protect them. She would protect them at all costs. But if you tend them well, Hulda's voice brightened, with love and diligence. Her eyes shone with warmth. Your family will thrive. Elara's heart swelled with hope. This was a chance. It was a chance for a new beginning. The land will flourish. Hulda's words painted a vivid picture. And your legacy will be woven. Her voice was a comforting embrace. It will be woven into the very fabric of time. Elara felt a profound sense of purpose. She looked from the radiant blue flowers to the unassuming flax seeds. Two distinct gifts. Yet they were interwoven. They were connected by a thread of magic. They were bound by the promise of care. Elara carefully held the gifts. She felt their weight. She felt their significance. A quiet determination settled over her. She would honor Hulda's trust. She would cherish these gifts. She would ensure their magic endured. The soft glow of the flowers illuminated her face. The smooth wood of the box felt comforting. Elara felt a deep connection. It was a connection to the ancient wisdom. It was a connection to the earth. It was a connection to her family. She knew this moment was pivotal. It was a turning point. Her life would never be the same. Her family's life would be transformed. All because of Hulda's generosity. All because of these wondrous gifts. Hulda watched her. A serene smile graced her features. She seemed pleased. She seemed content. She had passed on a profound blessing. She had shared a vital truth. Elara wanted to thank her. Words felt inadequate. No language could express her gratitude. She simply met Hulda's gaze. Her eyes conveyed everything. They conveyed her awe. They conveyed her promise. The air around them began to shift. The gentle shimmer intensified. It swirled like soft mist. Hulda's form seemed to grow fainter. Her outlines softened. She was becoming one with the light. Remember the lessons, Hulda's voice echoed. It seemed to come from everywhere. Remember the care. Her words resonated within Elara. They became a part of her. Remember the sharing. Elara clutched the gifts closer. She felt the warmth. She felt the light. The blue flowers pulsed gently. The wooden box felt solid. She was holding a future. She was holding a destiny. Hulda's form dissolved completely. She vanished into the shimmering air. Only the scent of fresh rain remained. It mingled with the subtle honey. The forest returned to its quiet stillness. The sunlight filtered through the leaves. It cast dappled patterns on the ground. Elara stood alone. She was still holding the gifts. The magic lingered. It hummed in the air around her. She looked at the blue flowers. They glowed steadily. They were a beacon of hope. She looked at the small wooden box. The flax seeds lay dormant. They waited for their purpose. They waited for her touch. She felt a surge of responsibility. It was a responsibility she embraced. She took a deep breath. The scent of the forest filled her lungs. It grounded her. It reminded her of her place. She was a part of this world. She was a steward of this magic. Elara turned slowly. She began her journey home. Each step felt lighter. Each step was filled with purpose. The gifts felt like an extension of herself. They were a part of her now. She carefully held the flowers. Their light illuminated her path. It cast a soft blue glow. The way through the trees seemed clearer. The obstacles seemed less daunting. The weight of the wooden box was reassuring. It was a tangible promise. It was a promise of a better tomorrow. She thought of her family. Their faces filled her mind. Her mother's tired hands, her father's weary back, her siblings' hopeful eyes. This gift was for them. It was for their future. It was for their comfort. Elara walked with renewed vigor. The forest seemed to acknowledge her. The birds sang a sweeter tune. The leaves rustled a gentle welcome. She was no longer just a girl. She was a bearer of magic. She was a guardian of hope. She thought of Hulda's words: cherished, nurtured, shared. These words would be her guide. They would be her mantra. She would live by them. She would teach them. The blue flowers continued to glow. Their light was unwavering. It was a symbol of enduring hope. It was a testament to true beauty. Elara felt it deep within her soul. The flax seeds represented growth. They represented abundance. They represented the cycle of life. She imagined them sprouting. She pictured them growing tall. She envisioned the rich harvest. She imagined the soft linen. She saw her family clothed in warmth. She saw their faces alight with joy. This vision spurred her onward. It filled her with strength. Elara continued her journey. The path grew more familiar. The thought of home beckoned. She couldn't wait to share her news. She couldn't wait to share the gifts. She would explain everything. She would tell them about Hulda. She would tell them about the magic. She would tell them about the promise. Her heart swelled with anticipation. The sun began its descent. Long shadows stretched through the trees. The forest grew quieter, but Elara felt no fear. The blue light guided her. The magic protected her. She knew the path ahead wouldn't be easy. There would be challenges. There would be hard work. But she also knew she wasn't alone. She had Hulda's gifts. She had Hulda's wisdom. and she had the love of her family. That was the most powerful magic of all. It was the foundation. It was the bedrock. It was the reason these gifts would flourish. Elara walked on. The soft glow of the flowers pulsed gently. The wooden box felt warm in her hand. She was ready. She was ready for whatever came next. She was ready to begin. She was ready to nurture. She was ready to share. Elara felt the soft earth beneath her bare feet. The familiar path welcomed her home. Each step was light, almost a dance. She carried the glowing blue flowers carefully. Their gentle light illuminated the twilight. The villagers watched her return. Whispers followed her quiet steps. They saw the luminous blooms in her hands. Curiosity sparkled in their eyes. Elara offered a small, shy smile. She walked directly to her small cottage. The thatched roof seemed to greet her. Inside, her mother sat by the hearth. The fire cast dancing shadows. A warm scent of herbal tea filled the air. Mother Elara's voice was soft. It held a new, quiet confidence. Her mother looked up, then gasped. Her eyes widened at the sight of the flowers. Their glow filled the dim room. "My child," her mother whispered. Her voice trembled slightly. "What are these wonders?" Elara knelt beside her. She placed the flowers gently on the table. Their light pulsed softly. "They are a gift," Elara explained. Her explanation was calm and clear. From Lady Holda herself. Her mother reached out a hand. She touched a luminous petal hesitantly. It felt cool and smooth. A sense of peace settled over them. The small cottage felt transformed. The oppressive worry that had lingered for so long seemed to lift. A quiet hope began to bloom. The next morning, Elara rose with the sun. She held the precious flax seeds. They felt smooth and cool in her palm. The blue flowers rested on her windowsill. They still glowed with a soft, ethereal light. She walked to her small patch of land. It was mostly fallow, neglected. Weeds had claimed much of it. But today, it felt different. A sense of purpose filled her. Elara knelt, feeling the soil. It was rich, dark earth. She began to clear the weeds. Her movements were deliberate, graceful. A gentle breeze rustled the leaves around her. She carefully prepared the ground. Each clod of earth was broken. The soil became fine and soft. Then, with reverence, she sowed the flax seeds. Each one was placed with care. She covered them gently with soil. A silent prayer formed on her lips. She asked for guidance and growth. The sun warmed her back. A robin sang from a nearby branch. Days turned into weeks. Elara tended her small field daily. She watered the soil carefully. She removed any new weeds. The blue flowers watched from her window. Their light never faded. Then one morning she saw them. Tiny green shoots emerged from the earth. They were impossibly vibrant. A deep, rich green color. Elara's heart swelled with joy. The flax grew with astonishing speed. Each day brought new growth. The stems became tall and strong. Their leaves unfurled gracefully. They shimmered in the sunlight. Soon the field was a sea of green. It was unlike any flax she had ever seen. The plants were taller, more robust. Their leaves were broader, glossier. A sense of wonder filled her. Then came the blossoms. Delicate blue flowers appeared. They were the color of the clear summer sky. Each petal was perfect. The field hummed with gentle life. It was a breathtaking sight. The entire village noticed. Farmers came to gaze at her field. They shook their heads in disbelief. Never had they seen such flax. "It's a miracle," old Thomas declared. He was the village elder. His eyes twinkled with awe. Truly a gift from the gods. Others murmured their agreement. The flax matured quickly. The seed pods ripened. They were plump and full. The stems were ready for harvest. Elara felt a surge of pride. The harvest was bountiful. The yield was immense. It was far more than she expected. The flax fibers were long and strong. They gleamed with a natural luster. Elara began the retting process. She soaked the flax in water. The fibers separated easily. They were remarkably clean. The process was surprisingly quick. Then came the scutching and hackling. The fibers were combed smooth. They became soft and pliable. They were ready for spinning. Elara worked tirelessly, happily. Her spinning wheel hummed a new tune. The fibers transformed into thread. It was incredibly fine and even. The thread was strong, yet delicate. It shone with a soft sheen. She then began to weave. The loom became her sanctuary. The shuttle moved rhythmically. Back and forth, back and forth. The threads intertwined beautifully. The linen she produced was exquisite. It was the finest anyone had ever seen. It was soft as a cloud. Yet, it was remarkably durable. Its color was a pure, dazzling white. The first bolt of linen was a triumph. Elara took it to market. The merchants gasped at its quality. They offered her a high price, more than she had ever dreamed. Word of her linen spread quickly. People came from faraway villages. They sought out Elara's cloth. Her small cottage became a hub of activity. Orders poured in steadily. Prosperity flowed into her home. She bought new tools for her craft. She repaired her cottage's roof. Her mother no longer worried. Their pantry was always full. They ate hearty, nourishing meals. They wore warm, comfortable clothes. The chill of winter no longer bit so hard. A sense of security settled over them. Elara always kept the blue flowers. They rested in a special vase. It was a beautiful clay pot. The flowers never wilted. Their soft glow filled her home. They served as a constant reminder, a beacon of Holda's magic, a testament to her generosity. Elara never forgot the source. She felt deep gratitude daily. She also remembered the conditions. Holda's gift came with responsibility. Kindness and generosity were essential. Elara embraced these principles. She lived them every day. She shared her good fortune. She helped those in need. She gave food to hungry neighbors. She offered shelter to travelers. Her heart was always open. Her reputation grew beyond her linen. She became known for her kindness. Her generosity was legendary. People spoke of her with reverence. She was a blessing to her community. One day, a young man visited. His name was Liam. He was a skilled woodcarver. He had heard of Elara's kindness. He sought her advice on a project. Liam was kind and gentle. He had a warm, honest smile. His eyes held a quiet strength. Elara found herself drawn to him. They spent hours talking. They spoke of their dreams. They shared their hopes and fears. A deep connection formed between them. It was a bond of mutual respect and growing affection. Liam admired Elara's spirit. He saw her inner strength. He loved her gentle nature. He saw her dedication and grace. He saw her beautiful heart. Elara admired Liam's artistry. His hands were strong and deft. He created beauty from wood. He was thoughtful and considerate. He made her laugh easily. Their love blossomed naturally. It was a quiet, steady flame. It grew stronger with each passing day. They decided to marry. The village rejoiced with them. Their wedding was a simple affair. It was filled with warmth and joy. The entire village celebrated. There was music, dancing, and laughter. A true community gathering. Elara wore a gown of her own linen. It gleamed pure white. The blue flowers adorned her hair. Their soft light shimmered. She looked radiant, truly beautiful. Liam looked at her with adoration. His eyes shone with love. He knew he was a fortunate man. He held her hand gently. Their future stretched brightly before them. Their home became a haven. It was filled with love and laughter. Liam's carvings adorned the walls. Elara's linen graced every surface. The blue flowers glowed peacefully. Soon children filled their home. First, a daughter with bright eyes. Then, a son with a curious mind. They were healthy, happy children. Their lives were rich with joy. Elara taught them about Hulda. She told them the story of the gift. She showed them the glowing flowers. She instilled in them gratitude. She taught them humility. She taught them the value of hard work. She taught them the joy of giving. Her children grew up with kind hearts. They learned to share their blessings. They learned to help others. The family thrived. Their prosperity continued to grow. Their reputation for kindness spread further. They became known as a beacon of light, a model for the entire region. They hosted many gatherings. Travelers found warmth in their home. The hungry found food at their table. The lonely found companionship. Their door was always open. Elara always remembered Hulda's words, the gentle reminder of responsibility. The gift was not just for her. It was for the benefit of all. A continuous cycle of giving. Her family was a testament to this. Their lives were rich and full, not just with material wealth, but with love, joy, and purpose. A life truly blessed. The blue flowers continued to glow. They were a silent promise, a symbol of enduring magic, a reminder of a goddess's grace, a constant source of inspiration. The small patch of flax continued to yield. It remained the most beautiful, the most abundant in the land, a living legacy of Holda's gift, a testament to Elara's heart. Elara watched her children grow. She saw their kindness reflected. She saw their generosity bloom. She knew the gift was safe. It would continue for generations. The village prospered alongside them. Their example inspired others. A spirit of cooperation grew. The community became stronger, a true testament to the power of one. Elara would often sit by the window, the blue flowers beside her. She would watch the setting sun, a gentle smile on her face, her heart filled with quiet contentment. She had found her purpose. She had built a beautiful life. She had honored the gift, and in doing so, she had found true happiness, a peaceful, fulfilling existence. The story of Holda's gift lived on. It was passed down through generations, a tale of magic and kindness, a reminder of ancient wisdom, a comforting bedtime story. It spoke of nature's bounty, of the power of a generous heart, of the magic that resides within us. A gentle lullaby for dreaming, a whisper of hope and peace, the soft glow of the flowers, a warmth in the quiet night, a promise of tomorrow's light, a story to drift away with. Into the land of peaceful slumber. The years unfolded, they drifted like gentle clouds, each one a soft breath carried on the breeze. Elara's children grew tall, their laughter echoing through the sun-drenched fields, their hands learning the intricate dance of the harvest. Their own children soon followed, a steady stream of bright-eyed, curious souls, eager to embrace the world their ancestors had shaped. Each generation, with bare feet on the rich earth, learned the rhythm of the land, the slow, patient turning of the seasons, the ebb and flow of life. They learned the whisper of the wind through the flax, a rustling symphony that spoke of resilience and bounty. The blue flowers, Elara's cherished gift, became more than mere blossoms. They transformed into a family treasure, a sacred relic passed down with hushed reverence. They rested in a carved wooden box, its surface smoothed by generations of loving touch, the grain dark and lustrous. This box sat on a high shelf, just out of reach of eager, curious hands, yet always visible, a constant, comforting presence. Its faint, otherworldly glow, a luminescence that seemed to emanate from within, pierced the twilight, casting soft, dancing shadows that stretched and swayed like silent guardians. The air around the box often shimmered, as if charged with an unseen energy, a lingering echo of the magic that brought them into being. Old Man Silas, Elara's grandson, his face a roadmap of sun-kissed wrinkles and a lifetime of wisdom, often told the tale. He sat by the hearth, the firelight dancing on his craggy features, painting them in hues of orange and gold. The scent of wood smoke and dried herbs filled the cozy room, a familiar comfort. Hulda herself, he would begin, his voice a low rumble like distant thunder, yet imbued with a profound reverence, touched these very lands, breathed life into the soil with her grace. Children, their eyes wide with wonder, their breath held captive by the magic of his words, gathered close, their small bodies pressed against each other, eager to absorb every syllable, every inflection of his voice. They imagined the goddess, a figure of radiant light, walking among the first flax shoots, her touch a blessing. The flax fields stretched far, a shimmering sea of verdant green under the endless sky, their soft, feathery heads swaying in unison with the gentle breeze. Their bounty fed many, providing sustenance and prosperity, and clothed even more. The fibers spun into strong, durable cloth that warmed backs and adorned homes. The community thrived, their lives interwoven with the family's prosperity, for they knew the family's secret. A whispered understanding passed from elder to child. They saw the constant prosperity, the unwavering abundance that seemed to favor this particular valley, attributing it to the unseen blessings that protected the flax. The very air over the fields seemed to hum with a quiet, contented energy, a palpable sense of well-being. Life was not always easy, though. Storms sometimes raged, their fury tearing through the valley, lashing rain against windows and bending trees low. The river sometimes swelled, its normally gentle current transforming into a raging torrent, threatening to reclaim the land it once nourished. Lean years arrived too, when the sun seemed to hide its face, and the earth yielded its bounty grudgingly, testing their resolve. But the family held fast, their roots deep in the soil, their spirits unyielding. They remembered Elara's diligence, her tireless efforts, and unwavering faith in the land. They remembered Hulda's grace, the divine blessing that had first brought prosperity to their ancestors, a constant reminder that even in darkness, light could be found. The blue flowers, nestled securely in their box, offered more than just comfort. They were a tangible connection to the enduring magic that permeated their lives. Their soft, unwavering light was a steady beacon, a silent promise of hope in the darkest hours. It reminded them of the profound, enduring magic that linked their family to the land. It spoke of deep blessings, a wellspring of abundance that flowed through their lineage. It whispered of resilience, a quiet strength that allowed them to bend, but never break, to face adversity with courage and unity. The very air around the box felt different, charged with a subtle, comforting warmth that seemed to seep into their very bones. Young Anya, a girl with bright, curious eyes that missed nothing, often visited the box, drawn to its quiet allure like a moth to a flame. She would stand on tiptoes, her small fingers tracing the smooth, cool wood of the shelf, and peer inside, her breath catching in her throat. The flowers, even from a distance, pulsed with a quiet energy, a rhythmic ebb and flow of light that seemed to hum a silent song, a melody only she could truly hear. Anya felt a profound connection, a shimmering thread that linked her to her countless ancestors, a living chain stretching back through generations. It was a link to the earth itself, a deep, primal understanding of her place within the grand tapestry of life. She would often close her eyes and imagine the energy flowing from the flowers through her and into the very ground beneath her feet. Her grandmother, wise and gentle, her movements as soft as a falling leaf, would often join her, her presence a comforting warmth. "These flowers," she would say, her voice soft as a dove's wing, a melodic murmur that soothed Anya's young heart, "are more than just pretty. They carry stories, the whispers of our grandmothers, the laughter of our grandfathers. They carry strength, the resilience that flows in our veins, the courage to face whatever comes." Anya listened intently, her young mind absorbing every lesson, every nuance of her grandmother's wisdom, like a thirsty sponge. She felt the weight of history, the responsibility of carrying on this precious legacy. The flax fields demanded hard work, a truth never forgotten, etched into the very fabric of their existence. Dawn often found the family already in the fields, their silhouettes stark against the burgeoning light of the rising sun. Their hands moved with practiced ease, a rhythmic dance of planting, weeding, and harvesting, a choreography perfected over generations. They dwelled under the open sky, the vast expanse stretching above them, a silent witness to their labor. The sun warmed their backs, a comforting embrace that promised another day of growth and new beginnings. The earth smelled rich and fertile, a deep, primal scent of promise and abundance. They planted seeds with care, each tiny kernel of future promise, nestled gently into the dark, welcoming soil. They tended the young shoots, protecting them from pests and weeds, nurturing their delicate growth with watchful eyes and gentle hands. They harvested the mature stalks, their movements precise and efficient, ensuring not a single fiber was wasted. Each step was a ritual, a sacred communion with the earth, imbued with deep meaning and gratitude. Each task held deep meaning, a testament to their connection to the land and its cycles. They honored the cycle of life, understanding that every ending was a new beginning, every harvest a promise of future abundance. They respected the earth's generosity, giving back as much as they took, ensuring the land remained fertile for generations to come. Kindness was another cornerstone of their lives, as vital as the very air they breathed. The family shared their surplus, their barns overflowing with grains and fibers, ensuring no one in the community went without. They helped neighbors in need, their hands always ready to offer assistance, their hearts open to suffering. A warm meal was always offered, the aroma of freshly baked bread and simmering stews wafting invitingly from their kitchen, a beacon of hospitality. A helping hand was always extended, whether it was mending a fence or comforting a grieving soul. Their home was a haven, a place of warmth and welcome, where laughter mingled with quiet conversation, and worries seemed to dissipate in the comforting embrace of kinship. Respect for nature was instilled early, woven into the very fabric of their childhoods. Children learned the names of trees, their leaves, their bark, their silent stories of growth and endurance. They learned the calls of birds, distinguishing each song, understanding their role in the delicate balance of the ecosystem. They understood the intricate balance of the ecosystem, recognizing the interconnectedness of all living things. They knew their place within it, not as masters, but as humble participants, part of the greater whole. They were stewards of the land, entrusted with its care and preservation, protecting its delicate beauty for future generations. They were not its masters, but its grateful guardians. The tale of Elara and Holda wove through their lives like a golden thread, a constant refrain that shaped their understanding of the world. It was told at bedtime, whispered in hushed tones as sleepy eyes drifted closed, filling dreams with magic and courage. It was shared during celebrations, toasted with mugs of cider and hearty laughter, reminding them of the foundation of their joy. It was whispered in times of struggle, a powerful reminder of the resilience that flowed in their veins, a beacon of hope in the darkness. The story became a living guide, its lessons echoing through their daily lives, shaping their values, defining their identity, binding them together as one. Generations passed, each leaving their unique mark on the family story. Names changed, evolving with the passage of time, yet the echoes of their ancestors could still be heard in the cadence of their voices. Faces changed, new features emerging, yet the familiar spark of determination and kindness remained in their eyes. Yet the core remained, an unyielding essence that transcended time and individual lives. The family's spirit endured, a flame passed from hand to hand, never faltering. Their connection to the land deepened, becoming an almost spiritual bond, an unspoken understanding that flowed through their veins. The blue flowers continued to glow, their light unwavering, a constant presence, a silent promise of continuity and enduring magic. One bitter winter, a great frost settled over the land, a merciless grip that froze everything it touched. It was unlike any before, a cold so profound it seemed to seep into the very bones of the earth. The ground froze solid, as hard as stone, resisting all attempts to cultivate it. The river turned to ice, its normally flowing waters stilled and silent, a silver ribbon stretching through the frozen landscape. Fear, cold and sharp as the winter air, gripped the community, a primal dread that gnawed at their resolve. The flax harvest seemed doomed, the promise of the coming year threatened by the relentless cold. Old Anya, now a matriarch, her face etched with the wisdom of years, felt the weight of worry like a heavy shroud. She looked at the blue flowers, nestled in their box, their luminescence seeming fainter, a flickering candle in the encroaching gloom. Was the magic fading? Was their luck finally running out, their long-held prosperity destined to crumble under the relentless assault of winter? A cold knot of despair tightened in her chest. Her grandson, young Finn, his eyes bright with youthful determination, watched her, his heart heavy with her unspoken burden. He saw the doubt in her eyes, a flicker of despair that he rarely witnessed. He remembered the stories, the heroic tales of resilience and triumph over adversity. He remembered the resilience that defined their family. "Grandmother," he said, his voice steady and clear, cutting through the silence of her worry. "Elara never gave up. She faced worse, and she found a way." Anya looked at him, truly looked at him, and a spark, small but persistent, ignited within her, chasing away the shadows of doubt. She called the family together, her voice, though weary, carrying the weight of generations of leadership. They gathered in the main hall, their breath misting in the cold air, their faces pale in the dim light. The fire crackled bravely in the hearth, its warmth a small comfort against the pervasive chill, casting dancing shadows on the walls. Anya held the carved box, its familiar weight grounding her, steadying her resolve. She spoke of Elara's struggle, her unwavering determination in the face of impossible odds. She spoke of Holda's intervention, the divine touch that had brought magic into their lives. She spoke of their ancestors' perseverance, their unwavering faith in the face of despair. "We are not alone," she declared, her voice growing stronger with each word, filling the vast hall, echoing with conviction. "The spirit of Holda is with us, a guiding light in the darkness. The strength of Elara lives in our blood, a fire that burns bright within each of us." With a trembling hand, she opened the box. The blue flowers pulsed, their light suddenly surging, filling the room with an ethereal glow that chased away the gloom. It cast dancing shadows, vibrant and alive, across the faces of her family, painting them with hope. A warmth spread through them all, not just from the crackling fire, but from deep within their own hearts. It was a feeling of hope, a surge of renewed determination, a shared understanding that they would face this challenge together. They decided to innovate, to defy the bitter cold with ingenuity and hard work. They would build shelters for the flax, small, protective structures that would shield the delicate plants from the biting frost. They would protect the young shoots, nurturing them through the harsh winter, ensuring their survival. The entire community joined in, their individual strengths merging into a formidable collective. They worked tirelessly, their hands numb with cold, their breath pluming in the frigid air. They carried timber, their shoulders aching under the heavy loads. They hauled stones, their muscles straining with effort. They covered the fields, a vast undertaking that seemed impossible just moments before. The frost bit at their fingers, turning them numb and raw. The wind whipped at their faces, stinging their eyes and chapping their skin. But their spirits were high, buoyed by a shared purpose, a collective will to overcome. They worked with purpose, their movements driven by a fierce determination, their hearts filled with a quiet resolve. Slowly, miraculously, the flax survived. The protected plants endured, tiny green shoots pushing through the frozen earth, a testament to their labor, a defiant whisper of life against the harsh winter. Small, green shoots emerged, vibrant and resilient, a symbol of their unity, their unwavering spirit. The community rejoiced, their cheers echoing across the valley, a sound of triumph and relief. They knew they had faced adversity, a challenge that could have crumbled their world. They knew they had triumphed, not through magic alone, but through their own ingenuity, their hard work, and their unbreakable bond. The blue flowers glowed brighter than ever, their light a jubilant celebration, a vibrant beacon in the aftermath of the storm. Their light seemed to cheer, a silent applause for the family's courage, their unwavering spirit in the face of despair. They celebrated the family's courage, their refusal to yield to the bitterness of winter. They honored their unwavering faith, the belief in themselves, and the blessings that guided them. The story of the great frost joined the others, woven into the rich tapestry of their family lore. It became another chapter, another testament to their strength and resilience. It became another lesson, passed down through generations, a reminder that even in the darkest times, hope and unity could prevail. Children learned of Finn's wisdom, his clear-sightedness in the face of his grandmother's despair. They learned of Anya's leadership, her ability to inspire and unite her people. They learned of the community's strength, the power of many hands working as one. The gifts of Hulda were not just material, not just the bounty of the flax. They were also intangible courage, the unwavering spirit to face challenges, community, the unbreakable bond that united them, and hope, the eternal flame that burned within their hearts. As time continued its gentle flow, a river of years weaving through the landscape of their lives, the family spread. Some moved to distant lands, drawn by new opportunities or the call of adventure. They carried seeds of the flax, not just the physical seeds, but the metaphorical ones, the lessons of their heritage, the values that had shaped them. They carried stories of Hulda, tales of magic and blessings, sharing them with new friends and communities. They carried the values of hard work, kindness, and respect for nature, becoming ambassadors of their heritage wherever they went. Yet the home place remained, the heart of their lineage, a sacred ground that anchored their traditions. The original fields flourished, a vibrant testament to generations of care and dedication. The blue flowers were always there, a constant presence, their soft glow a familiar comfort. They were the heart of the family, a symbol of their enduring love and connection. They were the anchor of their traditions, the silent keepers of their stories. They were the enduring legacy, a living testament to the magic and resilience that defined them. The air around the fields always felt different, charged with a quiet energy, a palpable sense of history. It hummed with a quiet energy, as if the very air vibrated with the echoes of past lives. It carried the scent of history, a blend of fertile earth, blooming flax, and the faint, sweet perfume of untold stories. It held the echoes of laughter, the joyful sounds of children at play, of families gathering for harvest festivals. It held the whispers of generations, the the soft murmurs of advice, of comfort, of love, carried on the wind. The spirit of Hulda lingered, a benevolent presence that watched over her chosen people. Her blessing was ever present, an invisible shield that protected and nurtured them. Each new child born into the family was introduced to the flowers, their tiny fingers reaching out with instinctive wonder. Their tiny fingers would reach out, drawn by the gentle light, a primal connection forming. Their innocent eyes would gaze, wide with curiosity, at the glowing blossoms, as if recognizing something ancient and familiar. A connection was forged, not just of blood, but of spirit, a bond that transcended time and space. It was ancient and profound, a sacred link that bound them to their ancestors and to the very earth itself. The stories evolved slightly, adapting to the changing times, imbued with new details and perspectives. Details shifted, a new twist added here, a character's voice refined there. But the core message remained constant, an unwavering truth passed down through the ages. Hard work brings reward, a truth proven by every successful harvest. Kindness fosters community, a lesson learned through shared struggles and triumphs. Respect for nature ensures prosperity, a wisdom born from generations of living in harmony with the earth. These truths echoed through the ages, a timeless melody that guided their lives. And so the legacy continued, a vibrant tapestry woven with threads of magic, love, and resilience. The blue flowers shone, their light a constant beacon, guiding them through every season of life. The flax fields thrived, a testament to their dedication and the earth's generosity. The family prospered, their lives interwoven with the land, with each other, and with the enduring magic that had touched their ancestors. They were threads in a rich tapestry, each life a unique color, contributing to the beauty and strength of the whole. It was a tapestry woven, many years unfolded, seasons drifted by like dandelion seeds on a gentle breeze. Elara, once the vibrant young woman who had brought such a miracle to her village, grew truly old. Her hair, once the color of sun-kissed flaxen fields, now resembled spun snow, thick and lustrous, even in its silver age. Deep lines, like the gentle furrows of a well-tilled field, etched themselves around her gentle eyes, each crease a testament to a lifetime of laughter, quiet contemplation, and the occasional tender tear. Her hands, once so nimble and skilled with thread, now trembled slightly, yet they still retained a comforting warmth, a familiar strength that belied their age. Yet, despite the physical toll of time, her spirit remained bright, a steady, unwavering flame. Her children had long since grown, their own lives blossoming into vibrant tapestries. They had children of their own, and then those children had children, until grandchildren, a lively, chattering flock, filled her humble cottage to overflowing. Their laughter, a joyous symphony of youthful exuberance, was the sweetest music to her ears, weaving itself into the very fabric of her days. The rich, comforting scent of warm, freshly baked bread, often imbued with the subtle sweetness of wild berries, frequently filled the air, a testament to the abundance her life had known. Indeed, life had been good to her, a tapestry woven with threads of love, community, and the quiet magic of the earth. The blue flax, a miracle of Holda's blessing, bloomed faithfully each spring, a breathtaking spectacle. It painted the fields in vibrant hues of azure and cerulean, stretching to the horizon like a vast, shimmering lake. Its magic remained strong and true, a palpable energy that hummed in the air around it. The flowers shimmered with an inner light, a soft, ethereal glow that seemed to emanate from their very core, a visible manifestation of the prosperity and well-being they brought to the village. Everyone knew Elara's story, the tale of the humble spinner who had communed with Holda, the benevolent goddess of the hearth, spinning, and the earth's bounty. They revered her quiet wisdom, her deep connection to the natural world, and her unwavering faith. One crisp autumn morning, a morning when the air held the invigorating scent of damp earth and decaying leaves, Elara walked among the fields. The distant, comforting tendrils of smoke curled lazily from village chimneys, carrying the promise of warm hearths and morning meals. A familiar, profound peace settled over her, a quiet contentment that had been her constant companion through the years. She paused beside a particularly dense cluster of flax, its stalks still standing tall and proud, despite the approaching chill of winter, their resilience a mirror of her own. But something was different. A subtle, almost imperceptible change had occurred, a faint discord in the harmonious symphony of the fields. The brilliant blue, usually so vibrant and alive, seemed muted, as if a thin veil had been drawn over its brilliance. A faint dimming touched the petals, and their usual ethereal shimmer was noticeably less vibrant, like a once bright star beginning to fade. A tiny, almost imperceptible wilting curled at their edges, a delicate fraying of their perfect form. It was barely perceptible to the casual observer, perhaps dismissed as the natural progression of the season. Yet Elara noticed it. Her heart, a sturdy vessel that had weathered many storms, gave a soft flutter, a gentle tremor of recognition. A knowing sigh, a sound of understanding rather than despair, escaped her lips, carrying on the crisp morning air. This was a sign, she understood with the certainty that only deep intuition can provide. The flowers, her lifelong companions, and the very embodiment of her connection to Holda, spoke to her. They whispered a quiet farewell, their message carried on the rustle of their fading petals. Their magic, she realized, was inextricably tied to her, a symbiotic relationship that had spanned decades. She knelt slowly, her ancient joints aching with a familiar, dull throb, a quiet protest against the passage of time. Her gnarled fingers, still surprisingly tender, brushed the delicate blooms, feeling the subtle difference in their texture, the faint crispness that spoke of their waning life. A single tear, warm and clear, traced a path down her weathered cheek. It was not a tear of sorrow, not a lament for what was ending, It was a tear of acceptance, a quiet acknowledgement of the natural cycle of life, a profound understanding that her journey was nearing its inevitable, peaceful end. The flowers had served their purpose beautifully and faithfully. They had brought joy and abundance, weaving themselves into the very fabric of the village's prosperity. They had nurtured generations, providing warmth, sustenance, and a tangible link to the benevolent spirits of the earth. Now, their task was almost complete, their grand symphony drawing to a quiet close. Their magic was fading, just as she was, a gentle, unhurried transition, like the gradual descent of the autumn sun, a soft, ethereal melody, almost imperceptible, drifted on the breeze, a sound woven from starlight and ancient earth. Only Elara, with her attuned spirit and deep connection to the mystical realm, could truly hear it. It was a familiar tune, a lullaby whispered across the ages, a song that hummed deep within her soul, resonating with every fiber of her being. The melody called to her, a gentle, insistent summons. It was Holda's song, echoing from the sacred mountains, beckoning her homeward. The call was not urgent, not a demand, but rather a tender and inviting embrace, a promise of peace and belonging. Elara felt a deep, profound peace settle over her, a quiet understanding that her time was approaching, a moment of profound communion with the divine. She rose, her gaze sweeping across the vast, golden fields, now bathed in the warm, mellow light of the rising sun. The world seemed to hold its breath, hushed in anticipation of a sacred moment. She knew what she must do with an undeniable clarity that surpassed all doubt. There was no fear in her heart, only quiet anticipation, a serene readiness for what lay ahead. Her descendants, the vibrant tapestry of her family, would carry on. They had learned the ways of the flax, not just the practical skills of harvesting and spinning, but the deeper reverence for its precious gift. The magic would not vanish entirely. It would simply change form, returning to its source, to the benevolent heart of Holda, to be reborn in a new cycle. Elara spent her remaining days in quiet reflection, her cottage a haven of peace. She shared stories with her grandchildren, tales of the old times, of the first blooming, of the kindness of Holda. She taught them ancient songs, melodies passed down through generations, imbued with the wisdom of the earth. She spoke of Holda's boundless generosity, of the sacred responsibility they held to care for the land, and she reminded them always of the earth's endless bounty. Her voice, though soft and a little reedy with age, was steady, imbued with a quiet authority that captivated her young listeners. She watched the sun set each evening, a daily ritual of profound beauty. The sky painted itself in fiery hues of orange, crimson, and gold, a fleeting masterpiece against the darkening canvas. The stars emerged, one by one, like tiny diamonds, scattered across an infinite velvet cloth. She felt a profound and unbreakable connection to it all, to the earth beneath her feet, to the vast, encompassing sky above, to the unseen, mystical spirit world that had guided her life. Her life had been full, a testament to purpose and grace. The fading of the flowers continued, an undeniable progression. Each day, their light grew dimmer, their ethereal glow receding further into the realm of memory. Their wilting became more apparent, their delicate petals curling inward, a visible sign of their approaching end. The villagers, ever observant, began to notice. They spoke in hushed tones, their voices laced with a mixture of sadness and reverence. They all knew Elara's story, and they understood the profound implications of this fading. A quiet reverence spread through the village, a palpable sense of respect and gratitude. They brought Elara small gifts, freshly baked bread, still warm from the oven, sweet, plump berries gathered from the forest, fragrant bundles of herbs. They offered gentle smiles, their eyes conveying deep affection and unspoken understanding. They sat by her side in silence, their presence a comforting balm, a quiet communion that transcended words. Their unspoken support brought her immense comfort in her final days. One evening, as twilight deepened, painting the western sky in hues of lavender and rose, Elara felt the call strengthen. It was no longer a whisper, no longer a faint melody. It was a gentle, all-encompassing embrace, a palpable presence that filled the very air around her. Holda's presence was near, a benevolent warmth that settled over her like a soft blanket. The mountains, looming majestically in the distance, seemed to glow faintly, bathed in an otherworldly luminescence. A soft, pulsating light emanated from their peaks, a beacon guiding her home. Elara knew it was time. With a quiet resolve, she rose from her bed, her movements slow and deliberate, each step a mindful progression towards her destiny. She wrapped a warm shawl around her shoulders, its soft threads woven from the finest flax, a cherished gift from her very first harvest, a tangible reminder of the miracle that had shaped her life. She walked out into the cool, crisp night, the air invigorating and pure. The moon, a crescent sliver, hung like a silver earring in the inky sky. Stars glittered like scattered diamonds on black velvet, countless and brilliant. A profound stillness enveloped her, the kind of silence that only exists when the world truly sleeps, when even the wind seems to hold its breath. She looked back at her humble cottage, a warm, inviting glow spilling from its windows, casting soft rectangles of light onto the dew-kissed grass. The faint, rhythmic sounds of gentle breathing drifted out, a lullaby of peaceful slumber. Her family slept soundly within, unaware of her quiet departure. She offered a silent blessing, a wave of profound love washing over her, enveloping them in its warmth. Her heart swelled with a love so vast it encompassed her entire life. Then, with a serene determination, she turned towards the mountains. Their ancient peaks loomed against the dark sky, silent sentinels of time. A faint luminescence shimmered there, a pulsating glow that seemed to beckon her onward. It was Holda's light, guiding her, illuminating the path. The melody, once a whisper, now grew clearer, a resonant hum that vibrated in her bones, drawing her onward with an irresistible pull. Her footsteps were light, imbued with a strength that defied her age. She felt no weariness, no ache in her joints. The path seemed to open effortlessly before her, the rough terrain smoothing itself to accommodate her passage. The familiar, invigorating scent of pine filled the air, mingling with the earthy aroma of damp soil. The rustle of leaves, stirred by an unseen breeze, was a gentle whisper, a chorus of farewell and welcome. Nature, her lifelong companion, welcomed her back into its embrace. She walked for a long time, the night deepening around her, the stars seeming closer, brighter here, as if leaning down to witness her journey. The air felt purer, thinner, charged with an ancient energy. She climbed higher and higher, steadily, resolutely, towards the source of the ethereal light, towards the welcoming, boundless embrace of Holda. Along the winding path, the clusters of blue flowers, scattered like forgotten jewels, glowed faintly. They pulsed with a gentle, rhythmic light, a soft, internal luminescence. They were saying goodbye, their magic returning to the earth, preparing for its next iteration, a new cycle of life and renewal that would begin anew with the coming spring. Finally, Elara reached a familiar clearing, the sacred space where she had first met Holda so many years ago. The ancient trees, their gnarled branches reaching towards the sky like supplicating arms, stood sentinel, their massive trunks rooted deeply in the earth, silent witnesses to countless ages. The air here was alive, vibrant, with an invisible energy. It hummed with ancient magic, a symphony of unseen forces. Holda stood before her, her form shimmering with the ethereal light of starlight and moonbeams. Her eyes, deep pools of cosmic wisdom, were kind and knowing, reflecting the vastness of the universe. A gentle, beatific smile graced her lips, a smile of profound understanding and boundless love. She held out her hand, a gesture of profound invitation, a warm welcome home. Elara took Holda's hand. It felt soft and comforting, yet imbued with an unimaginable power. A wave of profound peace washed over her, a feeling of ultimate belonging. All her memories, every joy, every struggle, every moment of love and connection, unfolded before her mind's eye like a vast, beautiful tapestry. Her life had been a masterpiece, woven with threads of magic, devotion, and unwavering spirit. The blue flowers in the clearing, as if in a final, grand flourish, brightened dramatically, their light flaring with an intensity they had not possessed in weeks. Then they pulsed once, twice, a final, radiant heartbeat. And then their light dimmed completely, fading into the darkness. Their petals curled inward, their life force returning to the earth, their cycle complete. Elara felt her own light dim, a gentle extinguishing of her mortal flame. Her physical form, the vessel that had carried her through a long and fruitful life, faded, dissolving into the luminous essence of Holda. She became one with the light, one with the benevolent goddess, one with the ancient, sacred mountains. Her spirit ascended, free and boundless, merging with the cosmic tapestry. Holda smiled, a quiet, knowing expression. The gift of flax, the simple blue flower, had served its purpose, beautifully and completely. It had brought prosperity to the village, woven itself into their lives. It had taught lessons of patience, resilience, and the enduring power of generosity. It had shown the profound connection between humanity and the divine. Elara's legacy, a beacon of quiet wisdom and deep faith, would live on, etched into the very soul of the village. The next morning, the villagers awoke to a world subtly, profoundly changed. They felt a shift in the air, a profound stillness that settled over everything, a quiet reverence, a sense of something sacred having transpired, permeated the crisp morning air. With a shared, unspoken understanding, they went to Elara's humble cottage. It was empty, a quiet testament to her departure. Her warm, familiar shawl lay draped over a wooden chair, a tangible echo of her presence. Beside it, on the worn wooden table, rested a single, wilted blue flax flower. Its petals curled inward, its light extinguished. They understood, with a certainty that needed no words. Elara had returned to Holda. Her long, beautiful journey was complete. A quiet sadness, a gentle ache of loss settled over them, but also a deep, abiding gratitude swelled in their hearts. Gratitude for the life she had lived, for the countless gifts she had given, for the magic she had brought into their world. The blue flax in the fields no longer glowed with that ethereal inner light. Its special magic, tied to Elara and Holda's direct intervention, had receded. It was now just a beautiful plant, its delicate blue petals swaying gently in the breeze. It would still grow, faithfully returning each spring. It would still yield strong, versatile fiber for their looms and spinning wheels. But the shimmer was gone. The special light had departed, returning to its source. Yet a new kind of magic remained, woven into the very fabric of their lives. The magic of memory, vibrant and enduring. The magic of gratitude, a deep wellspring of appreciation. The magic of community, strengthened by shared experience and enduring love. The villagers spoke of Elara often, her name whispered with reverence and affection. Her stories, imbued with wisdom and wonder, became legends, passed down through generations around crackling hearth fires. They remembered the first time the flax had bloomed, the wonder, the awe, the profound shift it had brought to their lives. They remembered Elara's gentle wisdom, her unwavering spirit, her profound connection to the earth and to the mystical realm. The mountains stood tall and silent, guardians of ancient secrets. They held their mysteries close, their granite peaks reaching towards the heavens. But sometimes, on a clear night, when the moon hung like a silver disk in the sky, a faint melody could be heard, drifting on the wind, a lullaby of old, a whisper of magic that seemed to emanate from the very heart of the mountains. And sometimes, when the moon was full, casting long, silvery shadows across the land, a soft, ethereal light shimmered high on the mountain peaks, a fleeting glimpse, almost a dream of Holda and of Elara, forever intertwined, forever watching over them. The gift of flax lived on, not just in the fields, but in their hearts, in their memories, a timeless blessing, a quiet promise of beauty and abundance for all time. The The morning mist still clung to the valley. It swirled around Elara's ankles. A gentle breeze whispered through the fields. The scent of dew-kissed earth filled the air. Her heart felt strangely light. She had spent the night with her family. Laughter had echoed through their small cottage. Stories were shared by the hearth's warm glow. Her children's faces, rosy with sleep, were etched into her memory. Her husband's hand had rested, warm and comforting, in hers. Now a quiet understanding settled between them. No words were truly needed. Their eyes spoke volumes. Love, gratitude, and a peaceful acceptance. These were the threads binding them. Her youngest daughter, little Lyra, clung to Elara's skirts. Her small face was upturned. Her eyes, wide and trusting, mirrored Elara's own. "Mama," Lyra murmured softly. Her voice was a tiny bell. "Will you be back for supper?" Elara knelt. She smoothed a stray curl from Lyra's forehead. A tender smile touched her lips. "Not this time, my sweet one," Elara whispered. Her voice was soft, like a lullaby. "But I will always be with you." Her son, Finn, stood a little apart. He was older, more reserved. He nodded slowly. His gaze was steady. He understood the unspoken promise. He sensed the deeper currents at play. Her husband, Thuron, stepped forward. His strong hands rested gently on her shoulders. His eyes held a flicker of sadness, but also a profound peace. "Go, my love," Thuron said. His voice was a low rumble. It was filled with quiet strength. "Go where your heart calls you. We will be well. We have your gift." He gestured toward the fields. The flax, vibrant and strong, stretched toward the rising sun. It shimmered with an almost ethereal glow. It was a living testament to her journey. Elara embraced them all. Each hug was a silent farewell. Each touch held a lifetime of love. She felt their warmth, their steadfastness. She knew they would thrive. They would carry her legacy. They would keep her spirit alive. The separation was not a loss. It was a transformation. She turned then. Her gaze lifted toward the mountains. They stood sentinel against the sky. Their peaks were still shrouded in mist. A faint, shimmering glow beckoned her. It pulsed from the higher slopes. It was a soft, ethereal light. It was the luminescence of the blue flowers. They were her guide. Her steps were unhurried. They were deliberate. Each footfall was light upon the earth. The path wound upwards. It was familiar now. The air grew cooler. The sounds of the valley faded behind her. Only the gentle whisper of the wind remained. It rustled through the pines. It sang a quiet song of farewell. She clutched the blue flowers. They were nestled in her hand. They had begun to wilt slightly. Their vibrant blue was fading. A soft luminescence still emanated from them. It was a gentle pulse of light. It mirrored the glow ahead. It was her connection to the other realm. The ascent grew steeper. The trees thinned. Rocky outcrops appeared. The air grew crisp. It carried the scent of ancient stone. It held the clean fragrance of snow. She felt no weariness. A strange energy propelled her forward. It was a sense of purpose. It was a quiet anticipation. The glow intensified. It was no longer faint. It was a steady, luminous beacon. It emanated from a crevice in the rock. It was the entrance to the ice cave. She remembered its chilling beauty. She remembered its silent grandeur. Now it was transformed. The ice cave pulsed with an inner light. It was a deep, resonant blue. It was more vibrant than she remembered. It was more profound. It was as if the very ice hummed with magic. The entrance shimmered. It was like a veil of living light. It invited her in. She stepped inside. The air was cold, but it was not harsh. It was a gentle, soothing cold. The cave walls gleamed. They were polished by unseen hands. They reflected the inner light. It cast dancing patterns on the ice. The blue was everywhere. It enveloped her. The familiar crystalline formations stretched before her. They reached toward the unseen ceiling. They sparkled with an otherworldly brilliance. The silence was profound. It was a living silence. It was broken only by the soft hum of the cave's energy. It resonated deep within her. At the heart of the cavern, Hulda waited. Her form was radiant. It was luminous. She was not made of ice. She was made of pure light. Her features were serene. Her eyes held an ancient wisdom. They held a boundless compassion. She was a vision of grace. Hulda's presence filled the space. It emanated warmth despite the cold. It was a welcoming embrace. It was a sense of coming home. Elara felt a deep peace settle over her. All fear dissolved. All lingering doubt vanished. This was her destination. This was her destiny. Elara walked toward Hulda. Her steps were light. They were almost floating. The blue flowers in her hand began to change. Their wilting accelerated. Their color deepened. Then they began to dissolve. They crumbled into sparkling dust. It drifted from her fingers. The dust caught the light. It shimmered like tiny stars. It swirled around her. It danced in the air. It was a cascade of pure magic. As she reached Hulda, the last petal dissolved. The last speck of dust vanished. It was a final release. It was a shedding of the earthly. Hulda extended a hand. It was made of pure light. It was warm. It was inviting. Elara reached out. Her fingers touched Hulda's. A surge of energy flowed between them. It was gentle. It was profound. It was emerging. It was a joining. Elara felt her spirit expand. It stretched beyond her physical form. It flowed into Hulda's realm. It became one with the luminous blue. It became one with the ancient ice. It became one with the profound stillness. She was no longer just Elara. She was part of something vaster. She became a whisper in the wind. She became a shimmer on the snow. She became the gentle touch of a snowflake. She became the quiet unfolding of a flax blossom. Her essence diffused. It spread throughout the mountain. It spread throughout the valley. It spread throughout the land. She was the guardian of the fields. She was the spirit of the harvest. She was the quiet strength of the earth. Her presence was woven into the fabric of nature. She watched over her family. She watched from the mountain peaks. She watched from the gentle breezes. She saw Lyra playing in the fields. The little girl wore a dress. It was spun from Holda's flax. It shimmered with a soft blue hue. Lyra's laughter echoed. It was carried on the wind. Elara felt a deep joy. It was a boundless, ethereal joy. She saw Finn. He was growing taller. He was strong and true. He worked the land with his father. He understood the cycles of nature. He respected the earth's bounty. He remembered her stories. He kept her memory alive. He honored her gift. She saw Thuron. His hair was silvered at the temples. His eyes still held that quiet strength. He spoke of her often. His voice was filled with love. He taught their children to be kind. He taught them to be grateful. He taught them to cherish the earth. The flax fields flourished. They were tended with care. They grew taller and stronger each year. Their blue blossoms painted the valley. They were a vibrant tapestry. They were a reminder of Holda's kindness. They were a reminder of Elara's sacrifice. The villagers spoke of Holda's gift. They spoke of the blue flax. They spoke of the prosperity it brought. They spoke of the spirit of the mountain. They spoke of Elara. Her name became part of their legends. Her story became part of their heritage. Her legacy was woven into every thread of linen. It was present in every warm blanket. It was in every simple garment. It was in the very heart of their homes. It was a legacy of kindness. It was a legacy of generosity. It was a legacy of love. The enduring magic of nature infused their lives. It was in the changing seasons. It was in the fertile soil. It was in the nourishing rain. It was in the warmth of the sun. It was in the quiet wisdom of the mountains. It was in the gentle murmur of the streams. Elara was part of it all. She was the breath of life. She was the quiet hum of the earth. She was the unseen hand that guided. She was the spirit that nurtured. Her journey had not ended. It had simply transformed. It had expanded. She was everywhere. She was nowhere. She was a presence. She was a whisper. She was the enduring spirit of Holda's realm. She was the gentle guardian of the land. She was the eternal promise of renewal. She was the quiet peace that settled over the valley. The moon rose. It cast silver light over the mountains. The ice cave shimmered. Its blue light pulsed softly. It was a beacon of ancient magic. It was a testament to a timeless bond. It was a symbol of enduring love. It was a promise of everlasting peace. The story of Holda's gift lived on. It was passed from generation to generation. It was whispered by the hearth. It was sung in the fields. It was remembered in the quiet moments. It was a tale of transformation. It was a tale of sacrifice. It was a tale of profound connection. And as the world slept, Elara's spirit watched. She watched over her family. She watched over the land. She watched over the sleeping world. Her presence was a comforting blanket. It was a gentle lullaby. It was an enduring blessing. Her peace was complete, her purpose fulfilled, her journey transformed. She was the snow. She was the flax. She was the enduring magic. She was a part of everything. She was home. And so the story ends with peace, with love, with the gentle hum of magic. If these whispers brought you rest, you're welcome to subscribe for more calm tales. A gentle, like also guides fellow night owls here.